Mm-hmm. Already in, good. Now, it is an open VC, but I do ask that during the longer descriptions that I'll be reading out, do not interrupt. Um, Looks like this is probably everyone we're going to get. So let's go over some basic etiquette. It is technically against the rules to shoot at the paintings, especially at key paintings such as Emperor Vactus, His Imperial Majesty. It is also against the rules to drop food on the displays or kind of any disrespect any of the displays in any way, kind of like that. So if you went over to it and dropped a bunch of rats on on top of this, it'd be considered disrespectful. So just follow along with the tour. If you want to see the displays being voiced, you can also step away from the tour at any time if you want to. But it is recommended that we gather up when we enter a new room. So if you want to stick around and pay attention to the some lore-based elements, I'm happy to. We'll start right at 10 o'clock. And like I said, it's an open VC, so you guys can talk if you want to. I just ate quite a bit of peanut butter, so I'm going to be drinking in between displays because I didn't think ahead. I know, I saw that. Yeah, I'm on a trying to put on eight, trying to put on some lifting more. I'm out of COVID, and the gyms are opening back up, so I'm trying to put on some muscle. Indeed. Who are you asking? Who? What is? That's doubted. All right, everyone. Let's begin. Remember your etiquette. Remember, it is an open VC, so if you have any questions whatsoever, I'd be happy to answer them. In these rooms, you can learn about Victovia's origins and the story of how our empire began. Walk in the footsteps of our forefathers, starting with the Three Realms exhibit and ending with the Empire exhibit. Our ancestors. Long ago, Victovia was divided into three warring realms: the Kingdom of Constantine, the Diocles state, and the Takan tribes. The bloody conflicts waged on for centuries. These statues form a depiction of many bloody clashes that occurred between them. On Greatsword, 3598, before Victovia. Takan tribes. The roaming bandit tribes of the Takan were infamously savage warriors, known for their adept ranged cavalry. Only the military of the Diocles and the walls of the Constantine could keep them at bay. The Diocles state. The Diocles state was one of the first recorded nations on the planet. They placed great pride in their unparalleled military might. However, their small population limited their ability to expand. The Kingdom of Constantine, the most civilized people of ancient Factovia, known for having the longest lasting stable government. The kingdom was known for its numerous philosophers and rich culture. It was Constantine settlers who first founded the city of Vyyrahk. The many triumphs held to celebrate major military victories, to pay tribute to how far we've come, the days of the divided realms. A bit of an echo there. Above us, Starfighter you see above you is the BK-908 Basilisk Heavy Fighter. Original design goes back centuries and has seen many upgrades as technology has advanced. Many of Vactovia's most famous aces, blue basilisks, and so now it is considered a great honor to pilot one. To this day, it remains a powerful foe, though only few remain in service. Beautiful marble structure ahead of us. Recreation of the Great Revolution, which united our people against chaos and realized our true potential. When the revolutionaries of the Three Realms began, united under the banner of the Visionaries' Alliance of Kinsmen, the coalition was formed and the name Vactovian was born. Are the very same used by the brave revolutionaries who banded together under the guidance of our emperor. Then known only as the Prophet, as you can see, many had to make use of their own work equipment, for most were farmers and miners who were oppressed by the dysfunctional realms. And loved ones continue to die for these pointless causes, many stopped seeing the rivaling realms as their main enemies, and instead started resenting their own leaders most of all. Thoughts of revolt and change were becoming more and more widespread. It was a tinderbox waiting for a spark. This was when a young, charismatic local landowner in the Constantine Kingdom began using his popularity in the old portside fishing city of Vyyrahk to host underground meetings with the following compatriots. Does anyone know what that portside city would be? Anybody? Anybody? Yeah. Anybody? There you go, Atlee. Correct. Very good. Looking to discuss the forming of organized movement to topple the reckless leadership of the kingdom and establish a new government that would seek peace, this individual became known to those of the time as the Prophet. His radical speeches, held in the town square, now named after him, entrancing the crowds with visions of new world that was free and united in peace. A completely alien yet alluring concept to people whose parents, grandparents, and beyond had only ever known war and struggle. It did not take long for the movement to gain immense following with the oppressed population of Constantine, and soon it led into a full-blown revolution, now known historically as the Great Revolution. Wanting to be a force organized enough to form a government, the revolutionaries coined the name Visionaries' Alliance of Kinsmen. That's where the term VAT comes from. With the raised left fist, and a coin named as a symbol of on their flag, as shown as a show of strength and defiance, now known as the Vactovian salute. Does anyone know how to do the Vactovian salute here? Correct. Actually, that's fact bow. That's fact bow. There you go. You got it. Oh, I think you were right. It's /E vac salute. With a space in between E and vac salute. Very good. And you can move to make it go up. Like step right or left. Here you go. Nice. Very nice. Excerpt from the History of Vactovia, Volume 1. Flag of the Great Revolution. Designed to resemble the first fist of the people rising up. It is from this raised fist that our empire salute was inspired. When the Great Revolution ended, the fist was incorporated into the royal seal of our emperor, as well as on a shield of his royal guard. Speaking of the royal guard, when you see them in-game, or in the Discord, you'll often see this symbol next to them. Yes, Grippy. Indeed. Empire. Wow, it's been a long time. All right, everyone. Avco 2 is a citadel world with many ground-to-space laser cannon installations. The UAF made a final bid to win the war by launching a surprise attack on this key strategic position, lending to a close battle that marked the end of the war. Don't drive in a desert. That's a good recommendation there. The Coalition's uniforms were the first to be designed for use on alien worlds. However, technology at the time was very limited. Their focus on protection from hostile environments made them less effective in combat. These soldiers of the Coalition had to deal with many other technological disadvantages, and so were forced to hone their military capabilities to extreme lengths. Imagine fighting a war, but in an astronaut suit. Just as much about survivability from the elements as it is from your combatants. Artist rendition of the early period Coalition flag. Sadly, no known flags of this type still exist. No records describe it in detail. The circle was meant to represent a unified planet, Vactovia, with the white outline and vertical stripes signifying the Coalition's achievement of space travel. It was during this period that Vactovia's astrofleet encountered the Terran Intersystem Alliance, a group of races new to space travel, much like Vactovia. It did not take long for the diverging ideals to escalate into armed conflict with the Coalition. This marked the first ever war between Vactovians and alien life forms. One of only a handful of remaining authentic Coalition flags. This is of the late period, when the Triad was first invented. Speaking of the Triad, we teach this in class. Does anyone know what it means? What does it represent? Correct. Well, that's part of it anyway. Honor, loyalty, bravery, which all result in what? Correct. Supremacy. Very good. Brownie points for you, Scrippy. Good job. The Triad is known throughout the universe as the embodiment of Vectovia. Honor, loyalty, bravery, and supremacy. You win a cookie. Banners of Actovia's legions, the Golden Triad, mounted atop with Vac inscribed upon it. Losing the legion's triad is considered a great dishonor until it is retrieved. Now, another bonus point for one of you who can point out how this is related to my name. That's a good guess. It's red and sharp. This is a battle standard. What else is a battle standard? My name, Aquila. Aquila is the golden. Very good. Yes, Brett. Aquila is the golden Roman battle standard. That's what this is based off of. To lose one of these in battle is the highest form of disrespect. And in fact, in cases where it was indeed stolen on the battlefield, the ones who stole it and then returned it to the Empire were actually honored. Strahd, the founder of Strahd Arms. It is thanks to his corporation that the Empire's technology has come so far. Whew, this is a nice display here. After the Coalition expanded into space, it encountered many hostile nations on other worlds. These alien peoples were victim to the same faults as the old realms of Actovia. As true bastions of order over chaos, the Coalition took control of these planets. They taught them Vactovian ideals, a virtue, implemented peacekeeping laws, established a formal government, and brought them true civilization. As the Coalition grew ever more, it was clear it needed to be restructured to support these new off-worlders. Thus, the Prophet decreed Vactovia would become an empire. He took his rightful place as emperor of our modern age was born. The founding fathers of our nation, from left to right, Colonel Caesar, Radek, Emperor Vectus, General Pyro, Devilish Pyro, Supreme General Mario Metrak, General Doligan Madrick. Y'all know who this is? Barry! We love you, Barry! The original spy master. Vyyrahk Musert was the royal spy master of the Empire and the original mastermind of the Obsidian Order. Who would have thought such a likable guy would lead the leading known shadow organization? Madrick is a legendary figure in Vactovia's history. He was supreme general for many eras that led to Vactovia's countless victories. To honor his memory, the Madrick Academy was founded in his name. How about you guys, but I kind of want to drive one of these. K-17 jet bike is a light air-to-ground attack craft first deployed in early military campaigns off-world. Proved to be cheap to produce and effective in its role of reconnaissance and anti-infantry.
What's going on here?
Well, I'm doing a voice tour of the War Museum. If you want to come join us, we're about 15-20% in. It's bad boy. I've actually flown in one of these. It's to who was it? I believe it was Astral, right? About live action. What you see above you is the OVR-44, the Overlord dropship, a famous icon of the Vactovian military. Its design is tried and true, having originated from the time of the Coalition. This troop transport can be described as a flying tank, able to carry entire squads of troops to the front lines, while dishing out enough damage to level the neighborhood. The technological advances, it has been upgraded for an interstellar flight, which is absolutely terrifying. Darius Sicarius made his mark on Vactovia as the grand innovator of technology. As a general, he was known to enjoy causing terrible chaos for the enemies of the Empire. Vax unit is deployed and swiftly eradicates the surrounded intruders. All these classics. Very, very classic pictures here. Wow. And I was actually at the original Swampy Moon Outpost when this photo was taken. I don't know if I was in the server at this very picture time, but I was actually I was in the VAC at this very moment in time. Yep, 2009. Yep, or no, this was actually 2011, 2012, because SMO2 had not been released yet. So this was actually relatively chat box. What does what mean? There's nothing wrong with it. I have no idea. Whew. That seems terrifying. I believe I saw one of these during the parade. Can anyone else back that up? Who else was here during the parade? I believe I saw one of these during the parade. And it wasn't just a film drone. It was one born to kill. One of the many forms of the Vaxes, the Vax ATAC, Agile Tactical Air Component, is designed as a hunter-killer support unit, infamously feared for its aggressive, predator-like performance on the battlefield. Yeah, it really is terrifying. Look at that fucking thing. The Vax, Vactovian Advanced Exoskeleton, Super soldier units are the pinnacle of Actovia's military technology, deployed as heavy mechanized support for the especially challenging engagements, a true significant feat. Within these mechanical exteriors are fearless Special Forces volunteers. Through the through the use of a vaccine, Vactovian Ascension Core cybernetically implanted nano emanation emanation. They have been fused with the cybernetic shell. This grants them the ability to suppress all limitations of an organic body, whilst retaining the intelligence and bravery of a true Vactovian soldier. Yeah, Mass Effect era, yeah. I agree with that. The case within this stasis chamber is an empty VAX GAU, ground assault unit, the primary form of VAX, deployed by the military. It is the Empire's ultimate ground-based weapon, requiring almost nuclear-grade weapons to destroy. Very few Vactovian enemies have ever faced one and lived to tell the tale. Whew, that's spooky. A fierce illustration of VAX units searching for survivors of a detonated low-grade Vactonite bomb. And speaking of Vactonite, let's hop right over to this bad boy right here. A Vactonite crystal cluster found in many continents of planet Vactovia. How big of a bomb do you think that would set off? Does anyone have some, yeah. Does anyone have it decreases your prison sentence by 30 seconds. spoken by a true prisoner. Hades' Lupercal Syndicate is feared by his enemies for his ferocious combat prowess. Records claim he was unbeatable in single combat, served many years as a general, and was prominent commander of the Royal Guard in his era. Hades' Arch was raised in Monument Plaza as a tribute to his many wartime victories. There's a lot of laser gun juice. Oh, Evil! I remember this guy. Lord Mortez Mayani served the Empire for generations, conducting a vast number of invasions and defenses under the Imperial banner. He is well remembered for the popular proverb, "Serve Actovia, not its ranks, not its uniforms." Upon entering the Third Imperial era, Strahd Arms focused on development and researching ways to push past the limits of handheld weaponry. The result was the Mark IV line of Vactonite weapons. Far more bulky due to their outstanding increase in destructive power, they are better described as hand cannons than guns. I believe I've got one of these right here. The HTR-4 Hover Armored Personnel Carrier is the troop transport at the forefront of all Vactovian conquests. Realizing the importance of fast mobile infantry, the military developed heavy ground transports that harnessed the power of hover technology. The result was immediate breakthroughs on many of the Empire's fronts. Initial hover APCs didn't include a turret, but the combat potential of the vehicle led to many different variations of the weapon-mounted hover APCs. That's live action. Of APCs? That's this one here? All types, yes. I recognize a few of these. Vactonite weapons. The first weapons ever produced by Strahd Arms up until this point were the only Vactonite laser weapons were experimental and single shot. Due to the technology being so early, these guns were very inaccurate and prone to exploding. What do you think it tastes like? Raspberry? Pain. Yeah, yeah. That's probably the best answer we're going to get. Watermelon. A little too. I think it's a little too like pomegranate. You know what I mean? A little too rich red. The second Imperial era, Strahd Arms was able to refine and enhance the application of Vactonite in laser weaponry. This led to the release of a whole new line of military and civilian weapons. I remember getting killed by this lightsaber probably close to 1,000 times. Also doing a lot of killing with it as well. Bonus points for anyone who knows who this is. Oh, brother, yeah, there you go. Good job, Brett. She got it right out the gate. It's Maxtus, brother of the Emperor. Younger brother of the Emperor Vactus. Prince Maxtus has stood by the Emperor's side since he first arose to power, often working to support the Emperor's reign from behind closed doors. Maxtus played a key role in Vyyrahk's modern city reconstruction projects, making it possible for us to enjoy the splendor we see today. This is an ATM. Whoa! Thank you for that. Oh yeah, I'm taking a screenshot of that. That's amazing. Perfect. Perfect. How do they do it? Welcome to this episode of How Do They Do It? Colonel Radek. Colonel Caesar Radek was present during the original Vactovian Revolution. Known for his ruthless style of leadership, Radek received major commendation for the role he played in toppling the Frosterian scourge that threatened early Vactovian expansion. Giants confirmed? As time progressed, the feedback of the troops, Strahd Arms was able to perfect their gun models to the Mark III line. The Mark III line was far more reliable than the previous lines. This is actually previous models here. We're on the Mark IV at the moment. Tree from the Gaznan forest, one of Vactovia's many natural wonders. That's a tree, yes. Don't chop it down, please. We'll circle back. Circle back. We'll end the tour on this one right here. Ladies and gentlemen, sent you above on the ceiling here. The beautiful, the iconic Imperial Badenov class cruiser is the predominant capital ship class in Vactovia's navy, bristling with Vactonite laser turrets, missile pods, the tractor beam projectors, and advanced shield generators. It is essentially a mobile fortress. Its hangar bay can house several squadrons of fighters and dropships, as well as ground forces for planetary invasions. Thanks to its compressed Vactonite reactor and extended engine ports, it is able to reach exceedingly high speeds for such a large vessel. Badenov is truly the pride of the Imperial Navy. That's because it basically is. Done with a ship attached to it. Oh, the classic WIJ. Most advanced force in the galaxy to rival Vectovia's interstellar capabilities, the many aliens in the WIJ alliance increased their technological progression substantially. In the name of defense, they manufactured many deadly phaser beam weapons. The uniform of the WIJ, a large alliance of the advanced species. Their technology gave them the edge over most nations. Vectovia led many attacks on WIJ's space to cease their expansion. Shout out to Shotokin here. Primitive weaponry used by the Frost Clan. Though ineffective against Vectovian technology, their arrows were imbued with alien energy to form ice. To uphold honor, Vectovian forces chose only to use such planet weaponry during raids of their planet. So basically, they fought fairly and used bow and arrow as well. Clothing of the tribal Frost Clan. Excuse me. Thank you. Though now near extinction, they are remembered for their fierce fighting spirit, even in the face of spacefaring nations such as Vectovia. The war against the Frost Clan was a unique chapter in Vectovia's history of warfare. Discovered on a single Arctic planet, the Frost Clan were a tribal people, but ferocious warriors. This made them a perfect challenge to train infantry forces against. In order to be on even footing with the Frost Clan's primitive technology, the Vectovian forces were outfitted with very weak weapons and light equipment. This led to a most glorious and challenging campaign, as Frost Clan were masters of their winter terrain and tribal tactics. The soldiers and commanders of the Empire learned many valuable lessons from Frost Clan's fighting methods. They demonstrated the importance of fooling your enemy into granting you the advantage in battle. Their perseverance defended their clan to the death and gained the respect of the Vectovian forces. In sight of this, the generals chose to end the war, so Frost Clan's planet could be revisited to train future generations of troops in their unique warrior tactics. Unfortunately, over time, the Frost Clan diminished in numbers, and eventually were thought to be extinct. In recent times, there has been a resurgence in their numbers, though encounters are much rarer than in the past. Fort Fang, the Cobra War. Classic. I've been on this map many times. John's Cobras. And I gotta be honest, I never really liked it. Sorry. This large minigun was the primary weapon utilized by John's Cobras. It appears to have been constructed from salvage materials of their colony's many refineries. The armor of John, the leader of his John's Cobras insurgency. His body was never found, so this recreation is based off his many propaganda transmissions. I think it was dropped in the Atlantic Ocean. You know, by the military. On a neutral planet outside the Vectovian space called Carpathia, a radical sect of colonists overthrew their government. This insurgent movement was called John's Cobras, led by the renegade known only as John. Attempting to start their own empire, they openly declared hostility to all other civilizations, quickly attracting the attention of the galaxy's most influential races. It did not take long for them to form an alliance and declare war on John and his Cobra insurgents, leading to one of the largest invasions of the galaxy has ever seen outside of Vectovia. This conflict was not in the interest of Vectovia. However, the immense show of force was enough to be considered a sign of weakness in Vectovia. If Vectovia did not stake its own claim. Thus, the Cobra War began for Vectovia. It did not last long and consisted of more fighting the other races to get to invade first, rather than the actual combat with John's Cobras. The entire conflict took place in Carpathia, and many of its cities were leveled due to the sheer number of invaders. The insurgents were very arrogant and refused to acknowledge any prospect of their imminent and inevitable defeat by the combined forces of the Alliance and Vectovia. Most saw this as further reason for the necessary destruction. Though Vectovia is considered to be a commendable trait for true warriors, within weeks the conflict was over. Barely a war, but one that made history. recreation of the helm and robes of Castellion, betrayer of Victovia, and founder of the heretical Grand Imperium. Salvaged TGI weapons from the wastelands of planet Arcadia following atmospheric ignition. Following victory over the Frostarians, many war-focused troops on the border worlds of Imperial space became restless and disconnected from the rest of the Empire. Ungrateful for the safety and order brought by Vectovia, they chose to split off from the Empire and form a separatist nation of their own, dubbed the Grand Imperium. This was a terrible blow to Vectovia's military, and the Emperor vowed to take vengeance on the traitors. However, with the Empire weakened from the Frostarian War, its armies divided, and the Separatists departed to a planet out of Vectovia's reach. It was impossible to strike at them without years of rebuilding. This gave the Separatists time to grow too, inventing a culture of their own, naming their new homeworld Arcadia. The Arcadians began attempting to relive the glory they saw while serving Vectovia. This militant ideology led to many wars, and their imperium grew substantially. At last, Vectovia had regained its footing, and the Emperor set his sights on the traitorous Arcadians. In his infinite wisdom, he tricked the Arcadians into believing the Empire was so weakened they could overrun it with ease. The arrogance of the Arcadians was their undoing. The trap was sprung. Octavian's new Vax super soldier units exterminated the invading Arcadian fleets. All across the galaxy, the world after world fell to Vectovia until all that remained was Arcadia itself. The invasion of their capital city, Alexandria, was a slaughter, and the traitors finally met justice for their crimes. When the battle was won, the Emperor made them an example by ordering a Grade 3 Vactonite bombardment of Arcadia. Nothing now remains of the once lush green lands of the blue oceans, but wastelands of ash. This is the fate of all who dare to betray the will of the Emperor. WIJ. Plan. Tech Security. Roblox Assault Team. And Imperium. Wait. Urban Assault Forces. Metro Legion. The Virgian People's Navy. Robine. Robloxers. The clan of Roblox. The clan, RIP. Hans Krovers. This mural, whoever made it, like specifically this mural, this is my favorite thing in the entire museum. Fantastic work. Fantastic work. This grand mural illustrates Vectovia's indestructible will to break apart any foe we face and surmount any obstacle in our path with greatness. Oh, there's a spelling mistake here. Plaques below name our most memorable war victories. There it is. Greatness. Spelling mistake. Unplayable game. Alright, everyone, calm down. Come on, let's move on. Standard uniform worn by the military forces employed by the Sparrow Corporation. Their insignia, RAT, can be seen, which stands for the Roblox Assault Team. Sparrow Corporation equipment recovered from the front lines of the Frostarian War. Their designs appear elegant yet powerful. Roblox Assault Team, yes. Most famous and destructive of Vectovia's wars, when the Empire expanded across the galaxy and encountered massive corporate conglomerates such as the Sparrow Corporation, Armagem Technologies, and Vortex Security. The nearest Vectovian space being Sparrow Corporation of the Frostarian Union, owned by Leonard Sparrow, demanded that Vectovia opened its borders. It was clear that they were already devising schemes to begin profiting off of the hard work of Vectovians. The Empire refused to submit to their influence. Frostaria immediately declared war to assert control by force. Seeing how they took advantage of their people and were attempting to do the same to the Empire, the Vectovia declared intentions to liberate Vectovia declared intentions to liberate the worlds of the corporations. Thus began several successive wars, culminating with the Frosterian War. Rivalry between the Emperor Vactus and Leonard Sparrow, sometimes known as color theory, is almost as historic as the war itself. War raged on for the first time, on and on for the first time. Races of the galaxy truly saw how powerful a force Vectovia was. The conflict pushed our military to learn new ways of interstellar warfare. With the Sparrows Corporation, vast resources to fund Frosterian military, it was grueling yet glorious fight. A major staging ground of the war was the Frosterians' Fort Celeste II, which was designed by Vectovian invasion sieged by Vectovian invasion forces many times. Eventually, Vectovian willpower prevailed over Sparrow Corporation's money. The Frosterian Union was no longer able to afford to continue the war and brokered a peace agreement. Vectovia was willing to accept on a condition Frosteria be restricted in military growth as well as Vectovia securing a buffer zone on the border where no ships may travel other than Imperial patrol fleets. Thanks to this treaty, Vectovia's people are safe from corporate manipulations, while Frosteria can continue to exist in peace. To mark this historic victory, the Supremacy Monument was erected in Vyyrahk. Wow, I'm really tripping over this one. Featuring many inscriptions retelling of the glorious conflict. Bonus points for anyone who knows where the Supremacy Monument is. Anybody? Anybody? Whitro says, correct, Red Chef. Very good. And Valia. Very good. You heard. Your mom's house. Gentlemen, we have one more floor to hit, and then we'll come back up here and finish it up. Vectovia's history. May this great hall stand the test of time, to commemorate and honor all true Vectovians who came before. Their sacrifices which allowed Vectovia to stand proudly to this day be ever remembered. Look back upon their memories as lessons for the future generations. Look back upon their victories as inspiration for future glories. We look back upon their challenges as warnings for future threats. Lord Jarkev's syndicate was a fearsome royal guardsman and proficient leader, the menace of the swampy moon. The general directed homeland defense during wars with many nations, such as Adeltia, leading his forces to decisive victories under the Vectovian banner. Ganex. Supreme General Ganex Alcatraz oversaw two of Vectovia's most notorious conflicts, notably the prolonged Arcadian War, vowing to impose order on the chaos of the cosmos. The forceful leader is credited with cementing imperial dominance throughout the galaxies. A maestro of the Vectovian spirit, Duke Cyborn H. Mayani stands as a testament to the power of dedication, willpower, and steadfast loyalty. Remembered for his contributions towards restorations of the Empire's administration, Duke Mayani retired admirably after a long and distinguished career. Blank. Viet Mayani. Founder of the Mayani family, one of Vectovia's oldest great families, General Vyet Mayani has forged a long and accomplished military career. Among his feats are many victories he personally fought in during the bloody Arcadian Wars. You know who this skull is. Lord Deadly spearheaded the early development of the coalition, conquering many regions that the Emperor commands today. The general fell valiantly during coalitionary rebellions, giving his life in service of the new empire. I'll know who this is. It's Alpharon. Vital to the survival of the empire, following a series of conflicts, Alpharius famously worked to rebuild the imperial army from the ground up. He resides in the empire's outermost regions, a well-decorated hero. Spoke with him today. Okay. Lord Zavir Vitrix was an ever-present force during the conflict-laden era of the empire. The general fulfilled his natural duty as leader and role model for all those that serve under him. Dedicated his early career to the Vactovian Commando Regiment, a pivotal vanguard unit accredited with several victories during the Empire's first expansionary era. Lord Evanar founded the Empire's Diplomacy and Negotiations Department, known today as External Affairs. Very OG. Very OG. For her merciless tenure, Overseer of the Army Corps, Colonel Callie Carnaris conducted swift, efficient, pitiless exercises with her cadets, ensuring excellent caliber of graduates for several generations. Blacktrios Madrick was a royal knight, famous for his proficiency in combat. Colonel acts as an example of countless cadets for his perseverance in the academy, honing his craft religiously as the undisputed titan of Ectovia's offensive forces. Orvax Grimaldus is famed for his charisma and leadership. He founded the controversial Grey Knights. Well, that's a grand what is it? Warhammer 40k reference there. When the TGI Separatist Rebellion began, has since returned home to us and regained his honor. Colonel Crox Carnaris. Crox. Oh no. Crox. Like the shoe. Anyway, served as the Empire's chief-most technician along Lord Isidarius Sicarius during the Varsia campaigns. Helping to found Vactus Corporation, Carnaris is credited with the building a great many facilities, many of which are still in use to this day. Oh, this is great. This one's great. Hello Man was a prominent figure during the Great Revolution. An expert swordsman, he taught many of the Coalition's greatest soldiers in the art when the Empire was first formed. He personally aided the Emperor in legislative changes. I am absolutely terrified. Brad. Who doesn't like Brad? Corporal Miak Conaris revolutionized state propaganda, receiving great renown throughout the Empire's galaxies as a result, pioneering new technologies for the new age. The since retired Spinmeister is still celebrated by cadets and soldiers alike for his service to the nation. By the way, for those of you who were in BC with me earlier today, I mentioned a YouTube channel named Twixhit. Wixhit. Twixhit. Well, that's this guy right here. From a client of the planet Empire. Imperial engineer Ice earned the respect of Vectovians after working countless nights with the Emperor to mastermind the redevelopment of Vyyrahk City. His ingenious designs and gifted scientific mind paved the way for many of the Empire's greatest technological innovations. Thank you, Ice Zombie. right hand of General Hades, Colonel Valdemar Vorbel. Feared for his proficiency as both an elite swordsman and an elite marksman. Decisive under pressure, the colonel was instrumental in securing Vaktovian victory during the Summer of the Cobra. In my opinion, objectively, this is the sexiest mural. I don't know, just the color, everything about it, it's nice. Colonel Elisar the Relentless embodied Vaktovia's most admirable traits. Rising through the ranks of the Empire during Varsya campaign, Colonel Elisar was awarded the position of commander in the Imperial Royal Guard, as well as a key role in the renovations of the Imperial Palace. Nitronic Zestek, founder of the Zestek family, was a general exceptionally skilled at warfare. Known for his inspiring speeches, he led most of his battles personally from the front. Commander Vyyrahk the Merciless is remembered for his undying dedication to the Empire. The colonel held his own on the battlefield, well into old age, hardened in his youth as a Sage Marine during the Battle of the Gravel Pass. And my personal favorite, totally not biased, totally wasn't my trainer in the VAC and VAK. Keen technician, the Colonel Opakor Zestek was essential in the research and development of many of the Empire's devastating array technologies. Retiring after a long career, Colonel Opakor is recognized for his dedication and contribution to the Empire. Levi, the steadfast is to be remembered by all as a model guardsman, serving the Emperor and his high command for many years. More than most, Levi balanced loyalty and competitive ability unlike any other. I remember this guy too. Unvanquished in open combat, Lord Huntik Mudrik was revered an Imperial Guardsman and stalwart leader throughout and beyond the Arcadian War. A few worlds, Huntik typified the model Vaktovian, retiring honorably after many years of service. I believe, if I'm correct, I actually remember this guy. And I actually served in Fear together the same year that we all disbanded from Fear. I believe he was either a colonel or a general, if I'm remembering correctly, but we all left together. Him, me, and like 30 other people, along with Ganex and this guy here. Yeah, the Fear replica forces. Yeah, when it was disbanded by Colonel. Yes, I remember correctly. Yep. So I actually served this guy. I was an officer myself at the time. So it was very, very interesting to see very old names here. Okay, let's gather up. I remember him. I remember 44 Shooter. I remember Liam 3131. I remember who else? Ganex was not Ganex back then. He was in the RF, and he was like a mid-rank in the RF. Him and I joined at the same time, the VAC at the same time. So quite a few things that happened at the same time that the RF was disbanded. Granted, this was 2012. I mean, this is a while ago. Emperor Vectus Xavier Dias Hyperion Exil Decius, founding father of Vaktovia. The big man himself. Look at that, just the Chad, the absolute Chad of Chads. First known as the Prophet during the Great Revolution, then as Overlord during the Coalition, and finally as Emperor today, Vectus is believed to have come from the humble beginnings as a simple potato farmer. Props to anyone who gets a reference from Potato Farmer in the Constantine Kingdom with his brother Maxtus. Witnessing the suffering of the people, he realized that the system was broken and vowed to do everything in his power to free his countrymen from oppression. Over time, he was able to gain support of the people and begin the Great Revolution. It was during this era he took on the name Vactus as a tribute to Vaktovia. Thanks to the advancement of technology, he's been able to extend his life indefinitely as an immortal emperor. However, this process came at a price of weakening his health, limiting his activity. To this day, he works tirelessly to guide the Empire by his will and secure our future.
Old fuck.
It's story time. Let's go.
Hey, I'm doing a museum tour.
Oh, that's cringe.
I'm actually done. I literally just finished. I'm glad you think it's cringe, but, you know.
You sound like Ronald Reagan.
Shit, bro. I sound like Ronald Reagan.
No, not you, the old guy.
Oh, good.
I mean, speech guy.
I do not sound like Ronald Reagan. Hey,
Bro,
Reagan
you're-
was like nasally. I'm not nasally. All right,
We did.
everybody, we're gonna gather up.
Billy, you wouldn't.
Everybody gather up. We'll take a picture and let's see. Where's a good spot? My vote is in front of Barry's portrait.
Yeah, I'd take a selfie with you.
Yeah. Let's go to Barry's portrait. Okay, everybody kind of fan a circle behind me, like a semicircle. And I want you all to do /E, space, akabao. Very good, very good. Let me type it out too. /E, space, VAKBOW, vakbow. Right, everyone. That concludes this tour. Thank you so much for attending. This was a official, unofficial event. I've done this a couple of times before, and I probably will a couple times in the future. I really enjoy this kind of stuff. The all the lore, especially the main thing I'm here for is the sheer amount of effort that this went into this museum. The portraits, I mean, the design, the building, everything. Very impressive. And
They have the model for this jet bike, but they're not using it.
if you guys, we could do a after party at the House of Rapture in Dahlia. For those of you who can go, I'm all for it. VC's open back up. Thank you all for attending. It really it's an honor to do this.
Your mother.
Thank you.